Hey, welcome to this episode of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. This is Iona Meade. I am your host at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. And we are here, and it is Relationship Freedom Friday, happens to be my favorite day on this YouTube podcast. So welcome. If you're watching me on the Soul Legacy TV YouTube channel, then welcome. If you're listening to this podcast episode elsewhere, then welcome. So everything that I share will be in the show notes or the description, so you can check the links down below. So relationships, what I'm specifically going to be talking about today in this episode 3, the theme and the topic is relationships, your soul family, soul clients, the relationship with you, universe, source, God, whatever you like to say. But for soulmate relationships, I'll talk about them a little bit, but I actually have a separate YouTube channel talking about soulmates and soulmate relationships and twin flames, and the other YouTube channel that I have is called Spiritual Dating TV, Awaken Soulmates Marriage CV, because your girl is out there. Just putting that out there. I'm going to talk about more and dive into relationships as I have before on that YouTube channel. So we're going to save this for soul family, intimate relationships as well, but the impact that we have on our soul family influence and our soul clients and any other relationship that you can think of. So in today's episode, I am going to frame this episode again for the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. We're going to tune into the frequency that emits the vibration of manifesting amazing relationships for you. And if you have ever experienced any kind of toxicity in relationships or anything like that, we want to release and let go and raise our vibration and let people go on their way and do whatever they need to do. And we get on with doing what we need to do as spiritual entrepreneurs, as light workers, as healers, who have a movement and a message, because relationships absolutely matter in terms of, hey, love, relationships absolutely matter in terms of where we find ourselves in the world, how we interact and we engage. Then that has an impact on how we show up in the world, right? So Ramona Miles is here on with me on the YouTube channel, so you can see that if you are on the YouTube channel. Again, I'm waving. I'm streaming this out on all of the socials. So if you're watching in the Soul Legacy Academy as well, then welcome. So Ramona is our lead soul guided instructor for the soullegacyacademy.com, which I'm the founder of, and also the soul guided instructor for the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, which I'm the producer of. And so Ramona is bringing in her amazing teachings. And she was actually on the YouTube summit as well, sharing her spiritual awakening story. So welcome, Ramona. Ramona says, hi, I've just released a relationship. Ooh, I felt and had an amazing experience. And you just released a relationship, felt amazing and I had an amazing experience, and I learned so much about myself. Love this topic. Wow, I'm going to actually sneeze. Type in whatever spiritual thing is for sneezing. Wow, that's really, really cool. And you know what? When I do this episode, there's lots of people that end up showing up on the Friday, and I'm like, there's no mistake. So Ramona and I have had a beautiful day on calls, on team calls. Just want to say that. And the conversation and the relationship that we've had, and I'll talk a little bit more about this throughout the episode. We were on a call from my 8 a.m. in the UK. Ramona's out in Egypt, so it's 2 hours ahead of time. And I think we were on the call to like 3 in the afternoon. Like, that's a relationship. That's relationship freedom, right? And my soul daughter is messaging me. She's just sent me an audible message as well. So, you know, relationships are really, you know, when you think of the 5 closest people to you principle, you want to see the relationships that are showing up to support your vision and your mission and to help you feel in alignment. So I'm going to go through what we're going to cover today. So yes, that was so awesome, wasn't it? And you know what, when you get off a call like that and you still feel energized and inspired, you know you're around the right people. So today, again, is Relationship Freedom Friday, which it happens to be my favorite day. And so in this episode, as with every single episode of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, we want to be raising our vibration. This is a very practical episode for you. So I'm going to break this episode down into 8 parts. And if you are new to me, then do subscribe to the Soul Legacy TV or follow along on the podcast. Because every single day I share an episode with you for you to help you live more intentionally, help you raise your vibrational frequency, and actually give you practical tools and steps as we journal and we visualize together. So the first thing that we're going to cover and dive in deep is raising your vibrational frequency, because this is Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, right? The second thing that we're going to talk about is vision boards, the vision that you have for your relationships, and if you're in alignment. And if you don't have a vision board, I'm going to share with you my 7-day vision board challenge, which I'll leave in the link in the show notes. The third thing what we're going to do is express gratitude. We're going to express gratitude in the way that raises your vibrational frequency in all of these 7 areas of your life, which I call the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency. The fourth thing that we're going to do is talk about setting your intentions for your day. How you launch your day, lead your day, and leave your day is your legacy. And we're going to plug that in with the other 7 freedoms and see where your relationships, how you're launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day, any tweaks throughout the week from the Friday to next Friday. So we're going to set those intentions just for the week, any tweaks, anything that you need to let in, anything that you need to let go and release so you can raise your vibrational frequency. The next thing that we are going to do is play the soul income game. The relationship with money matters. So we're going to do the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge. We're going to do it vibrationally. And then I'm going to give you an invitation to do it in the visible world with me. The 7th thing I'm going to talk about is the book for the day. And the book, if you don't know about the 5 love languages, I actually listened to the book, but I had this book, and I had the couples book, and I had the men's version, and I actually gave my ex-husband the men's version as I was a couple of months ago, and I'll talk about that. And then I have the teenage version and the children's version and the singles version. There's a lot of love on my Audible. So if you've never heard of the 5 love languages, it's absolutely amazing. When you know your love language, you can communicate with your soul clients and your soul tribe with that. And one of my love language, my top one, is quality time. So the conversation that you and I had, Ramona, that's my love language. That's filling me up with quality time and quality conversation. And then there's physical touch. And then I'm going to pull the card for today. You're going to love that one. And then I'm going to give you an invite into my community, which is called the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network. And it's for you to continue on this conversation with like minds and come and connect, co-create, collaborate, and cross-promote in joint vision partnerships, because we don't want to do everything alone. Ramona and I are joint vision partners as well. So let's dive into the first part of this episode. Robin says, wow, I will check out that book. Yes, so I'll share more about the book for the day and what the snippet is. So every single day I choose, as part of the 7 Freedoms Frequency podcast, and as an author, I choose a specific book on that specific day. You know how we've got like tons of books, that some that we read and some that we don't, and some that we implement and some that we like want to get round to. So every single day I'll recycle the book. So I'll come back to the 5 love languages each week, and whether it's the children, the teenagers, and when I had the children I was fostering, then I was doing that and loving them up in their way. So, you know, there's other books that you might like, you just love, you can go back to them. So the 7 Freedoms Frequency, if you're not familiar with what I cover each day, we cover contribution freedom on a Monday, health freedom on a Tuesday, relationship freedom on a Wednesday, environmental freedom on Thursdays. Did I say relationship? Emotional freedom, then relationship freedom, then spiritual freedom and financial freedom. And those make up the 7 Freedoms Frequency. So the relationship that you have with those 7 areas of your life matters. So right now we want to go into rating your vibrational frequency. And remember, I don't know if you've done this on the live with me before, but what we do in the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is we think about our spiritual business success. It's going to come from building those relationships, right? So we want to think of if we are in soul flow or in soul funk, as I say. And so we rate our vibrational frequency just intuitively and think, okay, 1 to 11. We don't rate a 0. If you're familiar with the wheel of life, lots of coaches use the wheel of life to assess how you are feeling fulfilled in so many areas of your life. For me, I create the soul legacy wheel with these 7 freedoms, and I want you to think about your relationships when you're contributing. That's a relationship, right? When you think about your health, that's a relationship with you, depending on how you're going to take care of yourself, right? And so your emotions, that's a relationship with you as well, like feeling in. So, and your relationship with your environment, everything is energy. So when you rate your vibrational frequency, rate it between a 1 and 11. And what we do is we say, no, it's the first time. Okay, cool. So what we do is we rate between a 1 and 11. And I will share my rating every single day. And then we rate how, like, how that guidance and that source, whether we feel in alignment, right? Or out of alignment. And then what we do is we write it down in the Soul Legacy Journal. I use my Soul Legacy Journal. I call it Spiritual Awakening Stories of 365. And at the end of the week, we see where we've been vibrating all week, and then we see which area needs a tweak. So contribution freedom, I rated my frequency at an 11. Health was at, I think it was at a 10. And emotions were at 11. Environmental freedom was at a 10. And relationship freedom is definitely an 11 for me. So when we get to the end of the week, we can score between 1 and 77. And so we'll see where the dip is in vibration and what we need to tweak even more so. So when we write, if you want to write it in the comments, you can do. So you'll write R for relationship, F for freedom, and F for Friday. RFF, relationship freedom Friday, equals between that 1 and 11. So you've got that note. You'll do it in your own journal. So my frequency is at 11, like I say. So you've got that for between now and next Friday. So when we come back to the 7 Freedoms Frequency podcast, which I hope that you will, you'll see, okay, well, what am I vibrating at this week? Like, what happened in the last week? Am I dipping? Is there something that I need to release and let go? Is there some action? Is there something that's triggering me? Is there something that's going on internally? This is the way that we're able to live intentionally and be in alignment with every single area of our life and raise our vibration and be in vibrational alignment and harmony. It's such a beautiful, beautiful process. You imagine really checking in on you, the relationship with you, the relationship with source, your guides. Are you listening to that guidance? Are you resisting that guidance? Where do you feel in funk? Where do you feel in flow? So where you think of the relationship with your contribution, your clients, your movement, you want to get out there. You think the relationship with your health, you think of all of the relationships with everything, and then journal on it, right? So hopefully that makes sense. The second thing that I want to talk about is, and I've got notes, is, if you're wondering why I'm looking down, is our vision board. So if you haven't done my vision board challenge, if you've done your own, that's great. If you want to do a vision board with me, I have a 7-day vision board challenge, a spiritual business vision board challenge for spiritual entrepreneurs. And it covers these areas, the 7 freedoms. It breaks each area down. So you isolate your life and you don't then get pushed and pulled by an area of your life that's not working so well, when an area of your life is working. So if relationships are working and health isn't so much, we don't then package it all together and get the vibrations mixed up. We separate it, we align it, we put our life back together, and we live intentionally, right? So when you do the 7-day vision board, I play my vision board, right, every day, so I can see what it is that I want to manifest. It's a 30-second video montage, that we play and then we journal on, and we see what our next steps are. We see if we're out of alignment. We can see the vision that we have created, and it makes us smile. It's fun. It's got music. You might just have the images, but on the 7-day challenge, you leave with something that's tangible that you can have as a gift to yourself to be in alignment with your vision. It's such a beautiful process. Ramona says your vision board challenge was off the charts. I've gotten more clarity. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So the vision board challenge is completely free. Again, you'll find it in the cards or in the description. And let me know if you've taken that vision board challenge, and you can come into the community. I do have a monthly call, a 2-hour coaching call in the 7 Freedoms Frequency call-in gym, so you can dive deeper. I coach my students on that. I actually gift my masterminders and my boot campers that gift, because when we are contributing out in the world, we want to receive that financial freedom, and we want to have everything else in between. And I believe that that's my duty to do that as part of my movement. So I'm so happy that you got clarity, because anyone that I work with, this is where I started. We need to be clear on what it is that we want to manifest, right? So, and Ramona, what we talked about today and the framework and all the things, this is it in motion. It makes more sense when we're like, oh, okay, that's the thing. So what I'm doing, a YouTube podcast, because I will stream this out on a podcast, is what I teach. I love to repurpose everything, and I love doing lives. I don't love editing. I'm just like, I'm good to go. Let's do it. And this is on my iPhone with the headphones. We're good. All right, so vision board challenge. So we rated our vibration. This is very practical. You'll leave being held accountable for living more intentionally. How beautiful is that? Living in alignment with your vision, living in alignment with your values, and raising your vibrational frequency on the 7 Freedoms Frequency podcast. So again, subscribe, share it out. Let somebody who needs to hear this hear it. The third thing is gratitude. Do we love gratitude? So you've done your vision board, you've rated how you feel. Now we want to say, okay, universe, I have that. I have all of the manifestations on my vision board. We want to come from that space. It's done. It's created. And this can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes, but I'm sure that you've heard about gratitude, right? So this is I don't know if you've seen this, Ramona. My daughter gave me this little gratitude stone, or the gratitude rock if you watch The Secret movie. It's a love heart. So for those of you watching on the YouTube channel, you'll hear it, you'll see it. But if you're listening on the podcast, then you can always come over to the YouTube channel. And this is episode 5. So my children and I had said gratitude for years. You know, just the vibration of it is amazing. And you might have a gratitude journal. You might have done gratitude before. The way that I do it in alignment with the 7 Freedoms Frequency podcast and our vision for spiritual entrepreneurs who have a movement, I want you to feel that energy. Now, when we go through awakenings, we go through tough times, we go through whatever it is, sometimes we don't feel in soul flow. We feel stuck or overwhelmed or whatever it is. And it's in those moments where we really want to say gratitude. And so if you think, oh, I don't really have that much to be grateful for today, that's okay, because we do. We all have those days. You know, we do have those days, and we want to acknowledge those. And the way that we raise our vibration in those moments, or the way that we take our vibrational frequency even higher, is to express gratitude. So the way that I do it, I say, I'm happy, I'm grateful, and I appreciate. We want to be happy, we want to be joyful, we want to smile, we want to feel that in our body. Like if you were manifesting all of your vision board, it's lit, it's amazing. We want to celebrate those things before they manifest. In order for it to manifest, before it manifests, we want to feel the feelings of that. Otherwise, it just doesn't manifest. So it's called being in vibrational alignment, the law of vibration. So I'll say, I'm happy, I'm grateful. We express gratitude, but sometimes there's a little bit of a lack in gratitude, according to Abraham Hicks. So we say appreciation. So the vibration of freedom, of love, of joy, of empowerment, of knowledge and appreciation are the highest frequencies. So that's where we're aiming for. It doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every moment, but that's okay. We just take this time, use our soul legacy journals, and do this appreciation. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate it. I'm going to do mine and hopefully you'll do yours with me. I call it soul speaking into existence. You don't feel like you've got anything to be grateful for. Think of something in the past, in the present, or the predicted future. Okay. So whatever comes to mind. And so the way that we bring the cheers to financial freedom frequency in, the contribution, the C, the health, the H, the E, the emotions, the other E, the environment, the R for relationship, the S for spiritual freedom and financial freedom. So I'm just going to go through those 7 freedoms and say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. Ramona says, I've learned so much about gratitude this past 2 years. Have you? Yeah, massive. Gratitude is key. It is. And being happy, because sometimes when we express gratitude, it's like, yeah, but then all day long we're miserable. Like, oh, well, I'll just do my gratitude journal, then I'm going to complain all day. And we want it more than that. It's not just in that moment, right? It's expressing that and raising our vibration and moving throughout our day. So we're going to talk about launching our day, leaving our day, and leading our day and leaving our day. So I'm happy and I'm great. So I do this because this is for me. And this is me taking responsibility for my own vibration because we're all connected. I raise my vibration, it affects you. You raise your vibration, we affect the collective, right? So the 7 Freedoms Frequency podcast is for spiritual entrepreneurs who want to experience that spiritual business success and the feeling of that so they know that it's safe to do so. So I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate the way that I can contribute in the world with my knowledge, with my experience. When Ramona and I were on the call, we were exchanging how we're contributing in the world. I'm really happy and I'm really grateful. And I truly do appreciate having people in my life who get it, that I don't have to, that I can laugh with, cry with, joke with. That relationship is awesome. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. So that was today, right? I can't, not right in this present moment, but kind of like today. So I'm happy for health. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate the food choices that I make, that I'm okay with eating 80% clean and the rest of I'm good. Like if I want to have a treat or I want to what have you, and I'm great because my brain actually supports me in that, helping me to make good choices, especially because I'm living more intentionally, living an intentional life. So I'm really happy and grateful that I'm provided for and I have the food I actually choose to eat that fuels my body. And if I want to have like that 20% where it's a treat, then I'm grateful for that because I have had that. And so I always call myself out. I don't do it in secret. I don't do it in like shame. I intentionally, it's like, oh, I fancy this. I'm intentional. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate emotions. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that I can be here with you live. And I'll tell you why, because there was points where I didn't want to get on camera. I used to stick something on like a picture on in front of my camera lens and talk to that because I was just so nervous, right? Like, you know, when you say you're talking to one person, I'm really happy and grateful that I'm at a point where I'm just happy to share with you, right? So, environment, I'm really happy and grateful and appreciate that when I walk out in nature and it just feels really nice. I'm just surrounded by trees. I'm in the middle of London, but I still walk on a path that feels like really connected to nature. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate relationships. My friend just keeps giving me jokes. She keeps telling me off. She's like, what time are you supposed to do on your live? I said, she goes, what, you doing another one? I said, no, I hadn't done the one from today at 11:11. She's like, what are you doing? Like, get it done. You know, this is not, and she did this to me the other day and I was laughing. She said, excuse me, if people are paying, you should be there. I said, they're not paying. She said, you should be there anyway. I just laughed. Just the most beautiful relationships around me, relationship that I have with my daughter. Obviously, I'm guided by my son. The relationships that I have with, yeah, that's a great idea. I don't even know what that was. Ramona, tell me what that was. That's a great idea. I don't know. I was talking. Thank you, though. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Spiritual freedom, I'm happy and I'm grateful. I appreciate the signs and the synchronicities that I went out. I saw a magpie and I was like, I did not come out to see one magpie. Then I saw the other one. I'm like, yeah, that's better. Two for joy. I'm happy and I'm grateful. I appreciate the finances. So I went to the shop for my friend and she gave me no, she said, my card's there. And I said, oh, okay, cool. So I picked a card and went to the shop and, you can tap it and swipe it, what have you. And it didn't go through. And I'm happy and grateful because I was able to use my card. I had that to be able to cover it. So when I came back, she gave me it back without worrying. It's like, oh, well, the card's not working. There's another one there. So that's I'm really happy and grateful and appreciate that because I wasn't always in that position, right? Robin says, put a photo of the cat. Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, I did. So my STAP, my Soul Tribe avatar persona, then I probably called it an ideal client. I had and I've still got the picture. Her name was Keisha. It was a real person. And I put her on the camera and I would practice. There's so many videos that you guys will never get to see that. And if my daughter ever releases them, when I'm gone, I will get her, like, because she like on my birthday and stuff, she'll post videos. I'm like, dude, take that off Facebook. Excuse me. So yeah, I used to do that. So that's the gratitude piece. The magpies. I literally was like, because I've been seeing one lately. And I said to my friends, like, and I said, look, there's one. And she's like, why would you spread that? And I was like, no, dude, if I have to see it, you have to see it. So I've been seeing one and then eventually seeing one or four. And so today I was like, I saw one and I was like, I literally said it out loud on my path. And I was like, I did not come out to see one magpie on my path. And the other one was perched. I was like, thank you. And just carried on walking. So yeah. Those signs and synchronicities, like, bring them in. All right, so let's go into the fourth part of this episode because I want to respect your time. It's about launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day. What do I mean by that? When we live intentionally, we live in alignment with our vision, we live in alignment with our values, and we live in alignment with being as high vibrational as we can. Doesn't always happen, and that's okay. But how we launch our day, how we get out of bed, launching the day, the morning routine that everybody talks about, whatever time that is for you, whether you get with an alarm clock or not, how do you launch your day in terms of relationships? So on Contribution Freedom Monday, we talked about how do you want to contribute every day, like in the day, in the morning, launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day, right? So blocking your day, segment intending your day, as Abraham Hicks calls it. And then we talked about health. How are you going to inject that health? The idea of intentional living is to put all of the 7 freedoms in every single day and combine that. So your emotions, what are you going to do to improve your emotions? Your environment, what are you going to do to improve your environment? So in terms of relationship, how do you get up and how do you feel? The relationship with you and you, relationship with source matters. That's how you start your day. So for me, I have that guidance. Like when I wake up, and this morning, I was waking up and I was just doing my cell work. And I say that and people say, well, you do a morning routine and you meditate and you get in a state and then I'm like, I just feel so tuned in. And bam, that's it, cell work. And then I'll usually have a break and I'll usually do my exercise. Didn't do that today because I was on the call with my beautiful soul sister, Ramona. But and then I'll go out in nature. I did go for my walk a little bit later. I'll listen to an Audible book. Then I'll come back. I had a call with a lady, a co-host of the Stop Writing, Start Selling Summit, Nicole, and she's going to feature on my summit, which is amazing. I love the relationships and I intentionally schedule calls and stuff on a Friday because I know it's Relationship Freedom Friday and I know I've got that essence and that vibration. So how are you going to launch your day? How are you going to lead your day? And how are you going to leave your day? Like between now and next week, by putting really great, like having a date night, having a date day, by like just spending time with you, downtime. How are you going to organize between now and next week that feels really good, that's in alignment with your vision board? And again, if you haven't done the 7-day spiritual vision board challenge for more life work balance for spiritual entrepreneurs with a movement, then consider doing it. Because if you have no idea, every single day I break down. If you just want to do Relationship Freedom Friday on the vision board challenge, it will make more sense if you do all 7 days. But you can really go into that now, and I walk you through a lot. All right. Ramona says, absolutely, it matters. I'm very happy to be on a better way of my self-care by doing these rituals in the morning and daily. Awesome. So when you rate your vibrational frequency and you don't drop off between now what you've set the intention to do, right? And you visualize yourself doing it, visualize yourself really happily doing those things, doing the action, doing it like with the energy that you want and the high vibe that you want, or the you know, the calm state, whatever that is for you, and visualize yourself each day. And then when you get to relationship freedom Friday next week, you will have evidence to yourself that you are someone that follows through. Because the biggest thing that we don't do is follow through and be consistent. So for me, this is my consistency. Whether I do all of the things or not, I'll let you know what I've done in the day, and I'll let you know what I've got to catch up on, like meaning like after that certain time. This is a late life for me, but I've had relationships and I'm happy with that. I'm not going to be like, I didn't do that at 11:11. I didn't do like my exercise this morning. I didn't do like, this is how I want to launch, lead, and leave my soul legacy. There's a framework, but there's freedom within that framework. This isn't about beating yourself up. Am I healthy? Am I good? Yeah. You know, I'm good. So the fifth thing is the next step, which I've alluded to. What are you going to do? So next steps, 3 next steps in terms of relationships. So remember, if it's that. So even if you're already doing the things and they're working and you're good in this area, still write them down, still put them on your calendar. So when other things come up, like if that's downtime at this time, if that's morning routine, that's morning routine. If that's whatever that, my walk-in nature, whatever that is, you can move the schedule around, but then you know when you're contributing, when you're doing exercise things for your health, when you're doing things that raise your vibration emotionally, when you're going to clean your environment, when you're going to shift your environment, whatever it is that's on your vision board, put it into your day now as much as you can, the little pieces, the little seeds, so that you're in alignment with the vision, and in your mind is not telling you, yeah, that's never going to manifest, because you're on it now. So say if you want to write a book, you want to contribute in terms of a book, then map out when you're going to write that book, right? All those things really, really matter. All right. So 3 things that you're going to do between, and then you're going to come back to the 7 Freedoms Frequency podcast and you're going to go, Iona, I did it. Yes. Right. You're going to do it. Right. Ramona says, this makes sense. We spoke about me being more organized. Okay. So the relationship with you. So when we plug into the 7 Freedoms Frequency, the organization can come under the relationship with you. It can come under your environment. So you want to set your environment up for success. So when I'm touching these books all the time, I'm like, my books are in my face. I had a call with Nicole today, and we were talking about different habits and different routines. And I was like, I've got all 7 2-liter bottles of water right in front of me. And I'm like, is that not normal? We were talking, we're going to have fun. So my journal has this, like these steps in it. So I've got that system, so I don't have to write it out every single day. Like, just like when you, everything that you're doing, say if your environment gets really cluttered and you're taking off your clothes or whatever. So when I've done with my t-shirt, I'm like folding it up, it goes back on the pile, like ready for the next week. Like I'm sitting here and that's all I'm doing. And don't say, ugh. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's a uniform for an hour's life. If it's whatever it is, like if it is that you want to read a book. Now I'm looking over at my book, Think and Grow Rich. I want to start reading that at night. Have I got there yet? No, I haven't. And I'm like, okay, I want to set that intention. So I'm reading that at night, not in the morning, at night. I put it there. And when I want to, like, I don't know, put my bonnet on because I forget, or I want to put my waist trainer on, I want to put it with my pajamas. We talk about this for Atomic Habits. If you've never heard of Atomic Habits, Ramona, it's an absolutely amazing book. So I read this, listen to this on a Thursday for my environment, because we want to set ourselves up for success in terms of the habits. So he says something like connecting, habit stacking. So say I get up, and when I take my protein after exercising, I'll take my vitamins. So my protein drink comes after my exercise, comes with my vitamins. So we're stacking those habits. We're associating this habit with that habit, and getting organized is just a beautiful thing. And so my values for environmental freedom on the vision board are efficiency and organization, because that's how I feel. I feel better when I'm organized. That's why I schedule out my business. I schedule out this live, and I just know that I have to show up live. Like, it's organized. So Atomic Habits, okay, I'll check it out. I know. So Atomic Habits is the bomb. It's sold millions and millions and millions of copies of this book. It's a book that I've listened to at least 7 times. At least 7 times. And I don't, you don't, it doesn't get old. You don't get bored. You hear something else. It's absolutely amazing. So it's that habits. Like, what are our habits? The way that I'm able to show up is because this becomes a habit. When I don't do it, it feels off and I feel weird. Rather than I feel weird doing it, if that makes sense. It flips it. Then, it becomes a habit. Excuse me. All right, yeah. So each day, or if there's a book that you've got on your shelf or on your Audible or what have you, and you're like, oh, that would fit into contribution, that would fit into my health, that would fit into my emotions, that would fit into my relationship, that would fit, then you pick up the books that, really are tools, and just listen to an hour or read a chapter a day. And that's enough, like, without overwhelm. All right. So the next thing is playing the soul income game, because I want to respect your time. So this is the Soul Legacy Journal, my journal, right? It's a notebook, actually. But I prompt you, and this is a magical special journal. This is why we use it, right? So if you just got a journal, then call it the Soul Legacy Journal for the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. So I talk about contribution freedom, health freedom, emotional freedom, environmental freedom, relationship freedom, spiritual freedom, and financial freedom. We want to bring financial freedom into every single day, because this is one of the areas that when we contribute, we want to be receiving. Now, the things on your vision board, some of them might be totally free, but I can almost guarantee if you've done a vision board with all areas of your life, or you're about to, some things cost money. And you might go, no, I like free things. I like to do free stuff. That's fine. The earphones cost money. The iPhone costs money. The ring light costs money. The microphone costs money. The books cost money. The cup costs money. The t-shirts cost money, right? The makeup costs money. The hair shampoo costs money. Do you know what I mean? So, like, we're in this world, things cost money. And if you're anything like me, I went through a dark night of the soul, and I had money blocks like you would not believe. I ended up homeless, bankrupt, all the things, right? So I was like, oh, well, how do I have this balance? How do I give and receive? So I made up the soul income game. It was inspired by Abraham Hicks's prosperity game. However, the way that they played it, I was like, I don't really believe that for me. So I want something that feels believable. And also the prosperity game by a guy called Frederick Lerman. So soul income game, the Soul Legacy Journal, there are rules. It gives you £1,000, dollars or euros or whatever currency you're in every single day. Can I get an amen? Don't ask me for real money. It's a vibrational money voucher, right? If you're in the Soul Legacy Academy, we play this game full out, and I give you a Trello board to start your Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge in the visible world. Right now, we're doing it in the vibrational world. Everything is energy. So work with me. This £1,000, dollars or euros or whatever currency you're in, you tithe 10% to a worthy cause. This is showing you and the universe who you be when you have money in your hands, or digitally, right? So I type 10% to a worthy cause. I call this compassionate friends. Whatever is your worthy cause, write that in your journal, type 10%. So $100, pounds or euros, and you go to the site, you go to the wherever, and it's let's pretend, right? But don't tell your brain you're pretending. So you really go and do that like you're doing it. You press as many buttons as you can before it, trips into like taking out of your account. And so we do that energetically, and we're visualizing and we're feeling the feeling, because when we have the money, we really want to be doing that, right? So Compassionate Friends is something, a charity, an organization that I will volunteer for and it's for bereaved parents. That's for something that I am passionate about, and I feel like it's a worthy cause because I'm a bereaved parent. Whatever it is that is in alignment with you, because as spiritual entrepreneurs, as healers, as light workers, as digital nomads, as speakers, authors, trainers, we are like, what am I going to do with this money? Do I want the money? Yeah, because we want to support causes. We want to put good energy out in the world. We want to be responsible with our money. That's the first thing. Second thing is you don't get to pay bills with this money. You want to come from the energy of all of your bills are taken care of. Done. Whole year of financial freedom. Whole year. Right? We actually do the maths when we do it together, when we're working together. But the bank 50K in 50 days, that should cover your bills, right? So you've got everything covered. You've got taxes covered. You've got all of the bills covered. You don't get to save. We're not hoarding this money. Savings are taken care of, all the things. This is play money, what you get to decide to do. The things that are on your vision board, purchase them. And so if you want to buy a bigger purchase than the $900 that you have left, or you don't feel like you've got time today, carry it over to the next day. You can keep carrying it over until Sunday. And on Financial Freedom Sunday, so you will have banked 7K in that week, $7,000. You will have tithed 700, and you will have 6,300 left to make a purchase. And if you don't spend it on the Sunday, you'll lose it. So playing the soul income game is about getting in vibrating. You can post pictures, you can post them in the community, you can come onto the Seven Freedoms Frequency Calling Gym. I can coach you around this and celebrate. And then when you see the things manifesting, you're welcome. So Ramona says, I'm looking forward to doing this. Yeah. So you spend in your journal, you write down what you spent and what you've got left. So say throughout the week, you're like, oh, I really want to buy whatever it is, or I really wanted, I don't know, a new deck, or I really wanted to go on this day trip to so-and-so, or I really wanted to go out to dinner or to the theatre. It's done. It's done. You go and look up the theatre tickets, you go look up the holiday, you go and look up you plan it out, you're in vibrational alignment. Like, yeah, it's all good. So you've role played this out daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. You're in vibrate. It's done. You never come from a place of lack because you've got plenty of money. Money is vibrational anyway. Then when you come to the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass, Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge, I will show you how to build a framework for your business where you can bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge during the 50 breakthrough sessions that serve, because we're serving. So we're speaking, serving, and signing up via video. That's what I help you to do on the Bank 50K, on the Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge, on the Masterclass, which happens live on the last Monday of the month at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. So I invite you to come to that. All right, so that's the soul income game. We're all good. How do you feel about that? Is that good? Oh, good. That's good, right? So the last thing is, no, the second to last thing, the seventh thing is the book, The 5 Love Languages. Again, you want to get, do you know? So this book, Ramona, is on the 5 love languages, the secret to love that lasts. There's a YouTube Audible version, a YouTube, like the book version. And so I just opened this, so I'm just going to read this little bit, and then I'll tell you what I listened to today. You can't even see that. Hang on. So if you're on the YouTube channel, I'm trying to show the book, and you can't even see it anyway. So the number of ways to express love within a love language is limited only by your imagination. Again, amen. So the piece that I listened to today was, I started from the beginning because I'm starting this podcast from the beginning. So I wanted to start that. It says, what happens to the love after the wedding? If you've ever been married, I have, and got happily married and happily divorced. I was talking about, I gave the 5 love languages book, which I didn't know about then. I got married when did I get married? 2007. And by like 2008, I kind of got my anniversary card slung at me. And we bought a house and we got married on Cocoa Beach and all the things. And then like we went through a really messy divorce for years. And then 10 years after not seeing the man, and I was like giving up my house and all of my furniture, I was thinking about him because we shared so much. And he showed up like around the corner from my house at the supermarket in the car park. I literally got in my car, and I wasn't going to go to that. I was at nursery with the little boy that I was fostering, and I had a window of time. And I was like, oh, I brought all of my, it was like a sports day or something, and I was going to camp out, and I brought everything. I was like, I don't think it's till 10 o'clock. I'm going to go up the road. And when I went up the road, I looked over and I was like, I'm sure that's his van. And I said to my daughter, I took a picture. I was like, oh, I think that's, his van. And then I was like laughing and what have you. And then I turned around and he's coming out. And I was like, oh, my goodness, Mr., my old surname. And we chatted. We hadn't chatted for years. It was cool. And I told him, look, I'm moving. I'm going to travel. Do you want some stuff? And he ended up coming and he helped me clear out my whole house. I was telling Ramona this story. So I gave him the 5 Love Languages book. He's in another relationship. I'm like, you need to know this. You need to know this. This is going to help you out no end. So what happens to the love after the wedding is that we have 2 phases of love. So 1 is that obsessive love, and 2 is that covenant love, he says. And it's passionate as well, but we ignore all of the things, like not red flags, but all of the things we think people are perfect. And then when we don't express love. So if you don't know what the 5 love languages are, okay, cool. A beautiful moment. It was a beautiful moment. There's loads to the story. If you don't know what the 5 love languages are, they're physical touch, not in any order, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, and gifts. And I always say gifts last because gifts is not my primary love language, although I have received gifts and I was like, oh, okay. Okay. Very, very like your beautiful video. Thanks, madam. Wherever you're watching me, thank you. Share this out. When you're online and you just, yeah. Okay, cool. 5 love languages. It's a book I recommend. So when you figure out your own primary love language, it's alignment with your values. Mine is my primary one, just so anybody knows that wants to share this out, like, so I can help me attract my dude and my husband, because I'm dating for marriage. Mine is quality time and words of affirmation, then physical touch, then acts of service, and gifts. I'm really a kind of 0. I appreciate them, but I'm a really rubbish gift giver because I'm not a very good receiver. So if I was with a guy and his primary love language was gifts or acts of service, that's not my natural way to speak it. So I was talking to someone for this last few months on and off, and talking to other people. When I'm talking to one person, I'm talking to one person. And he is so busy. My value is freedom. So the 7 Freedoms Frequency podcast. He's so busy working and doing all the things. I haven't met him in person. I'm supposing he's an absolutely amazing guy. And I'm like, my needs are not being met just in these conversations, these exchange. Being in a relationship at this point in that way would absolutely not work for me. Not that you're doing anything awful. It's I need quality time, not because I'm needy, just because that quality time is the way that I express love. So if you don't have time and you're always busy, which happened in my last relationship with my twin flame, it's like, oh, dates would get cancelled because I'm going to go to work and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, wow. And we thought at the time my primary love language was words, and he didn't know how to speak it. And then when I did this quiz again, I was like, no, it's quality time. Maybe it pivoted in the pandemic. I don't know. He's like, I could have easily done that. I was like, well, it's good to know. Okay, I'm Greek. I can speak only Greek language and a little Russian language. I'm very glad to see you, madam. Thank you. You are welcome. It is Relationship Freedom Friday in my world, and anyone who wants to contribute to this conversation in a really great way, with a high vibe way, fantastic. I would love to learn to speak Spanish. I've never tried to learn Greek, and I definitely don't know Russian. So kudos to you, because I don't think Russian and Greek are similar, right? I don't think Russian and Greek are similar, but I don't think my husband's Greek. Just saying. Maybe he is. I don't know. But yeah, the relationships that you want to speak, if you know what love language is, then you can speak it with your clients, you can speak it with your soul family, you can speak it with your spouse, your children. Like I said, all of the book, Dr. Gary Chapman has a book. So I'm an author and I teach writing books, right? He wrote one book and then he just duplicated his process to children, and then he co-authors with people like the Howell Rod. He wrote The Miracle Morning, and then he co-authored with people and wrote The Miracle Morning for millionaires, for writers, for families, for network marketers. Once you have a beautiful system, so this system, the Seven Freedoms Frequency, will go for soulmates, for homeschoolers, for digital nomads, for bereaved parents. Anyone can do this system. Ramona says, sorry, Ramona says, awesome. It is good to know your love language. Yeah, it is. So you can communicate that, and you don't have to get into situations and relationships without letting anybody know. Listen, when I'm dating, before I'm even meeting you, you're doing the 5 love languages test. And if you're not willing to do it, my guy wants to do that, already knows about the 5 love languages. So when I'm like swiping on Bumble and Hinge, I'm looking at, do you mention the 5 love languages? Some people, some guys do. You do have to educate everyone. This makes so much sense. Does it? Now, because we've talked about it, it's like, oh, this is what she's doing. So that's how I raise my vibrational frequency, by listening to something every single day. Last thing I want to leave you with, or second to last thing, because I'm going to invite you to the call, is the card for the day, which is Lord Shiva. And if that's how you say it, transcendence. So I pulled a card from, I'm going to say, I normally have them there, like put them back, Keepers of the Light by Carl Gray. And you'll have your own cards and things. This is mine. So it says, rise up, honor your inner force, steps are being given, dance with the universe. Let me just say that again. I love it. Lord Shiva, transcendence, rise up, honor your inner force, steps are being given, dance with the universe. Yes, yes, yes. Dance with the universe, baby. So the last thing before I read your comments and we wrap up this episode of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, the Soul Family and Soul Tribe Impact for spiritual entrepreneurs who have a movement, I would love to invite you to the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network. We have a monthly call. It's a free call. It's a 90-minute networking call where we continue on this conversation. We come and connect, we co-create, we collaborate, and we cross-promote with like-minded souls, soul family, on the first Monday of the month at 9 p.m. UK time. I will leave the link down below for you in the show notes. And do subscribe to the Soul Legacy TV at Spiritual Business Success with Iona, and follow along to this podcast. Please do share it out. I would much appreciate that. Okay. All right. Let's see. I very, very want to join your group, but I am patient of blood cancer for 4 years. My life is imperfect and unknown. I'm an orphan, and young, alone, fighting blood cancer. Wow. 4 years. All friends pray for me. If that is like, I wouldn't say that I'm skeptical and that is true, then reach out to some local resources for people to really support you. I would say that, because this is Relationship Freedom Friday and we're online and we have people that come into our world that we do know, don't know. And I would say reach out to local sources of support. Absolutely. Wow, Lord Shiva. Is it Shiva? Am I saying it right? Yes. Pull that today. Ramona says, yes, we've talked about the dance and the Shiva and the Shakti today. I will take this as a sign that I'm truly in alignment. Can I get an amen? So with that said, I am going to respect your time. This is Iona Meade and the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, Spiritual Business Success with Iona Meade. And so I would love to see you back here on Friday, but I also would love to see you on the daily podcast where I talk about spiritual alignment. We're going to talk about guidance and ease, grace, and flow. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your time. And I really appreciate it. I shall see you soon. Big love. Mwah. Take care.